All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Today is February 27th. As usual, going over analysis for US 30, gold, and a little bit of Bitcoin. So I'm in this trade. So this was a trade yesterday, and I'll go over the recap for it. But I'd also even put it in the Discord yesterday under the trade ideas here when it was literally coming back at entry. But this was a nice US 30 trade that came up. So today let's see what we'll get. I did take a quick rejection scalp, and right now actually we have a potential rejection scalp here on US 30. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Let's see if we get a. I took a rejection scalp earlier on, so let's see if we get any. So there's one here for US 30. So if you had set, so there's actually two, 622. Let's see, uh, 617, 627. So it has already reached that. So you can either set a pending order here, pending sell order, and these trades come in so quickly. So if you had set a pending order, you'd get filled in. But for me, what I'll do, I'll see if I'll wait for a crossover right here to see. And keep in mind, so these ones we're just forward testing them. They're not really official entries until we get a clear pattern on how to enter. But there is a potential rejection entry here. So if you had set a pending order, you would be in the trade. For me, I'm waiting for a crossover sell here to print on the 5 minute, I'm sorry, on the 5 second chart. So let's see if that happens. So if you had set a pending sell order, you'd have gotten tapped in at 43,618, 43,618, somewhere around there. Okay, so there it is. So it should be this one. So let's see how this goes. So this is a 220-point stop loss, 20-point TP. So I'm in that trade. Let's see. And looks like I will get taken out of that one. So I'd taken one earlier this morning. So whether you had set a pending order or took it with a crossover sell, that would have gotten taken out. But anyway, so we just keep moving and see if we find another one. So this one would have gotten taken out right there. So similar to yesterday we had like there would have been one win and one loss for the rejection scalps. All right, let me just take a screen grab of this. The way I was, let's see. All right. So is there any other area? So there's another area up here. Give me 1 second. Let me set a 719, 719, so 729.7. So I'll set this alert here. So if US 30 gets up here, there might be another pending one right here. So keep in mind, these are mostly better for people who trade futures because you're in and out real quick. But I'll also go over the one that I took earlier. So, and I'm still in that US 30 buy from earlier, from yesterday. Okay, so let me go over the one I took this morning, and I did show it in the Discord, the rejection scalp here. So for this rejection scalps, I did mention you need high times of liquidity. So ideally, you want to trade them between market open and 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now, the other times you can trade them is like today. I know there's normally on Thursdays at around 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. There's normally the release of the unemployment data. So that's a pretty high or moderate high news event. You can trade it during NFP or CPI. So the idea of the rejection scalps is that you want to be in and out really quickly, right? So for example, if we go over this one that I took this morning, you can see that by the time price or this rejection, by the time this rejection area was being created, the idea is that you expect price to fake down or up a little bit, and then you would have an expectation that the candle that is rejecting from that rejection level would close above or below. So in this instance, I was expecting that this candle would close above this rejection level and close as a rejection candle. So, and that's also why you want to have a a threshold. So you don't really want to enter exactly when the candle touches. So for me on US 30, I want the price to go about 10 points away from that rejection area or past it. And then I set an alert. So as soon as price hits that area, there's two ways you can use to enter that trade. So you can either set a pending order at that rejection level, or you can go to the 5-second time frame and then enter on the crossover of the 5 and 9 EMA, which is what this pretty much is, the one that we just used to enter right now. So if I go back to the entry that I took this morning, I took it right here. So you can see here with this indicator that I have, the crossover gives you this red X's and green X's. So for me, for this rejection scalp earlier on, I got filled in at 43,385. So 43,385 was here, 43,385. So it was actually a higher entry than if I had set a pending order here. The best thing about entering on the 5-minute or 5-second time frame is that you're waiting for that confirmation that price is doing a reversal, because crossover of the 5 EMA and 9 EMA, especially on the 5-second time frame, it gives you that nice sniper style entry. So you get in on the high lows, on the lower highs if you're buying, you get in on the higher highs if you're selling. So, and you can see that's what I got compared. Now, on the other hand, if you would, or if somebody would have set a pending order here, they would have gotten filled in earlier than me. So it's just a matter of your risk with trading. But these trades are pretty nice. And you want to maybe look to take maybe two of them. And there's one on gold right now here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Yesterday, the one we took that was a winner was a gold one, or the one that we had marked up as a winner was a gold one. So here, let's see. There's one for gold, 287.49. And remember, we are in this sell on gold from last week. So I'm still in this particular sell on gold. But these ones are just pretty much quick scalps. So for gold, you want price to go away from the rejection area by like $1. So keep in mind the TP and stop loss for US 30 is 20 points, 20 points. The TP and stop loss for gold is $2, $2. So that's why you want price to go away from the rejection or past the rejection areas by like half of what your TP and stop loss would be, and then you'd set a alert for when price gets there. So let me set an alert real quick here for gold in case gold comes back down here. But the other thing you don't want to see as well, you don't want to see when that area has been rejected and price goes up without reaching that 10 point or $1 threshold. But let's see if this one comes in here. The other confluences are same to the rejection. So you just need to make sure you're in a demand zone if you're buying. You need to make sure you're in a supply zone if you're selling. So right now we cannot enter any trade because that rejection candle already closed. So if it had already come down here, you see it already went back up. I think it even went back up that 20 points on the retracement back up. So this one, if it had reached our threshold, this one would actually have won because we just saw it reject pretty quickly back to the upside. So unfortunately, this one, we go ahead and delete this alert because you want to trade on the rejection candle. You don't want to trade on the re-entry candle. So the re-entry candle, like what's happening here on gold, this one now would be a regular rejection strategy entry. So yeah, so here you can see, and the other thing too I'm looking at for this rejection scalps, because of the erratic price movement, it's probably a strategy you can do a 1:2 risk to reward such that you set break even when you achieve a 1:1. Because if we go back here, you can see for this particular trade, this one, if we had done 1:2, price wouldn't have gotten taken out at break even. And then we would have, because like for me, I was risking 2,000. I mean, I'm normally risking 1% per trade. So like the account, my main account is like a 200K account. So for this account, I would have made like 4K. And with that one rejection scalp we just lost, I would still be up like 2K for the rejection scalps. So I think this rejection scalps, given the high probability of winning, but also having a tight TP and stop loss, it's probably worth considering maybe doing a 1:2 risk to reward for them and then setting break even once you achieve that. So if I go ahead and close this, you'll see what I was talking about, getting that nice sniper entry. So imagine, right, you had confluences that allow you to ride this whole move. And you're only risking, say, like me, if I was risking 2K and maybe I go for 1:2, 1:4. But anyway, so we'll see if we get this one at the top here. And we'll see how this one goes. We are in a 15-minute bearish order block. So the lower the zones I trade, and look at gold melt. This is nice. The lower the zones I trade, and I'll go over this daily trade. The lower the zones I trade, the lower order blocks I turn on. So you guys know I stopped doing like 50. I don't do 15-minute and 30-minute order blocks when I'm trading on the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. I only turned them on because now we are doing the rejection scalps and we are doing them on the 15-minute and on the 30-minute time frame. So we'll see if this aligns. And then this one would ideally be an A+ setup for a rejection scalp because we are in an order block, we have rejection, and I'm pretty sure here we have supply. So this one up here would be a nice entry for a sell on gold. I'm sorry, for a sell on US 30. Coming up on gold, there's nothing really here. So you can see, and here's the other part too. So I did mention I don't take the larger trades on gold and US 30 on the 15-minute and 30-minute. By the larger trades, I mean the intraday trades that I normally take because I haven't found them to be better, right? To have a better entry, because again here you can see this one is a 15-minute and 30-minute rejection area, so those ones don't really hold. The ones that really hold are 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, monthly, etc. Yeah, so the only or the other thing I can think of is, yeah, so for the 15-minute and 30-minute time frames, if you guys see me trading them, I'll only be trading rejection scalps for now. Let's see, what else do we have? So gold keeps on dipping, so that's good because we are in that gold sell from a week ago. So let me go over this US 30 trade that I took yesterday. So if I do the bar replay tool, and this is similar to the same US 30 trade I took on Tuesday. So I did mention that if you see a 4-hour, if you see if you see an hourly and a 4-hour rejection zone, that gives you a high probability for getting a nice rejection. This was similar to what happened around the same time the day before. So this one was confluence number one for taking this trade. The other confluence for taking this trade was so I had two options yesterday. So I did see that there was this rejection, hourly rejection area here, and then the 4-hour rejection here. So my question to myself was, okay, what am I supposed to do here, or what can I do here? The TP and stop loss that TradingView was giving me yesterday, if I was to take this one, would have been a 1200 TP and stop loss. So knowing myself, right, I would have gone for a 150 point TP and stop loss just to round off to the next larger number. What's the issue with having 150 point stop loss yesterday? This stop loss was literally next to this rejection level of a 4 hour rejection level. Also, it was above this daily bullish order block. So you remember when I said yesterday, use this order blocks to give you direction of price or what price is likely to do. So for me yesterday, when I was looking at that setup, I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense to me. I would rather have my stop loss even lower and also lower than this daily bullish high. Okay, then I did a 200 point stop loss. Even a 200 point stop loss would not have given me a stop loss below this daily bullish high. Now, for me, mostly I like doing a 200 point stop loss on US 30 maximum, but at some point I'll get away with a 300 point. So that's why I decided yesterday for this particular trade, I will shoot for a 300 point TP and stop loss. So that gave me stop loss below this rejection level that's right here on the 4 hour, and also stop loss below this daily order block. Now, the reason I opted to have a wider stop loss for this trade is that, yes, it's possible that price could have easily just come here, rejected there, and then gone up. And then if I had like a 200 point stop loss or 150 point stop loss, I would have easily hit TP. But then I asked myself, what is also the probability that instead of doing that, price taps me in, comes up a little bit, and then comes back to this zone before going up, and ideally stop hunting me. So that's why I chose to do that. So it's possible that price could not have come here first, especially if you see this is the previous day, right? I think this was the previous day that I was talking about. Yeah, Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday. Tuesday, the previous day, the same trade, especially because it looks like they had already picked up liquidity. But I wanted to be safe yesterday, so I would rather have had a wider stop loss and TP and not missed my trade. So let's see what happened. So I got tapped in, but look at what exactly happened on the next candle. Price dipped down heavily. So if I had a 200 point stop loss or 150 point stop loss with this trade, I would have gotten stopped out. Okay, so I have my 300 point. At this point, I was still comfortable because I know I have a daily bullish order block that's right here. Again, this was an A+ setup. You want to have order blocks that support your entry depending on the direction you're taking. Now, I wouldn't really have taken this trade if this was a bearish order block. Same thing that I'll go over here for gold, which is why I'm pretty positive gold will hit TP because we have a bearish order block in the direction that we are trading. So here for this US 30 trade, at this point I was fine, right? But again, here it created another rejection entry, SAR rejection entry. So here, the other thing you could have done is you enter here. Now, personally, I don't like entering two trades at the same time. So here, since I was already in that US 30 buy, I didn't really want to increase my risk or to expose myself in two positions in the same direction. But here, if I had waited or if I had missed the other trade and I came in and I drew the trading view markup, I can see that it was giving me like a 110 point stop loss and TP. So we go ahead and adjust that to 150 points. And US 30 has been good so far this year with this entries. So let me just remove the other one in the background just for now and just use this one. So anybody who had taken this, look at what happened. Tapped you in exactly and then went straight to TP. So this would have been a quick 1% return or whatever it is that you that you trade with, or the risk that you trade with. Now, you can see that easily went up. But let's see again what happened. So around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time, and I noticed this even the previous day, and I think it's normally around the same time that Trump is doing some of his talks nowadays. But what happened at around 3 to 4 or 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern time yesterday? So here, we'll see that around 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, look at this drop, and it was such a heavy drop. But on the other hand, look at exactly where they dropped price to, and which is why I mentioned to you guys, use the order blocks to tell you a story. So look at where they came up and rejected from. So for me, this gave me even more confluence that this trade would reverse back to the upside. And same thing we were talking about yesterday, right? So this is like a dragonfly. It's not really a dragonfly doji per se, but you have that wick to the upside. So it's I forget what doji it is. Again, I don't trade candlestick patterns like that, but I know it's some sort of doji. So if you have this kind of quote unquote doji candle that's rejecting, that came up exactly to a daily bullish order block and rejected to the upside. This is even a trade you could have taken, did like a stop loss below that previous low, like what we talked about yesterday, right? And see what price did the rest of the night. And ideally where we are, yes, ideally where we are right now. So for me, the confluence of staying in this trade, number one, I didn't want to miss out on the trade. On that first rejection level I entered. So I chose to have a wider stop loss and TP. And even this morning, same thing. You can see this is repeating itself. We have a 4-hour rejection and we have an hourly rejection entry. Same thing that happened yesterday. So for US 30 to break this zone, it might take a little bit more pressure. And when I was watching the charts yesterday, when they were dropping price heavily to this and picked up liquidity at this daily order block right here, there is some strong level of buyers here. But if these buyers get exhausted or whomever is propping price up gets taken out, US 30 will fall down pretty heavily. But if you look on the other hand at market structure, to the upside, US 30 can easily shoot back up to the upside, possibly come back to this 200 DMA or this daily rejection level or this hourly order block. So, it looks good. So it's a bit wide of a stop loss than I would normally like, but it does look good for entries. So here, yeah, no. So there's a possible rejection one happening right here, but unfortunately here there is an overlap of the supply and demand areas. So you can see here, because this candle looks like it's going to close as a rejection candle, but we do have an overlap of supply and demand areas right there. So it's not a sell. The one I'm talking about is this sell right here. So it's not a sell I would be looking to take, because within that supply zone, we also have a demand zone. So we'll just see how it goes. I'll still keep holding on to this trade. And given that we have this rejection again to the upside, I feel like price will shoot back up. But if US 30 breaks this daily order block, we will flash down pretty heavily. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, we had a 4-hour entry. Same thing yesterday on the 4-hour. We had two 4-hour entries. So we had this one right here, which ideally looks like it would still be running. This one would have been a 300-point stop loss and TP. And then we had this other one that's down here. So you'd have set a pending order here, and this one would have hit TP. So this one looks like would have hit take profit. Yep. So this one would have been a 300 point. So I guess even for me, another thing to remember going forward, since mostly I trade on the 4-hour and I trade mostly on the 1-hour. If you see a 4-hour rejection level and if you see a hourly rejection level, if you go to the 4-hour chart, you will see that 4-hour rejection level. If that, hopefully that makes sense. You will see that 4-hour rejection level. So I could have saved myself this drawdown that I initially was in if I chose to move back to the 4-hour time frame and then wait to set a pending order around market closure here. And here's the other part too with this trade. So you see, when they picked up this liquidity from this daily bullish order block and closed above this rejection level, you can see after market opened with a gap back down to the upside. I'm sorry, to the downside. And they opened up with that gap and picked up that entry at that rejection level. So this is where I'm saying I could have saved myself like that drawdown that I was in previously during the day if I had thought about checking the 4-hour chart. But I guess the takeaway from that is if you're trading and you see okay, you see like how we have here on US 30, we have a 4 hour rejection area and also an hourly rejection area. So what that is telling us is that if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we'll see a 4 hour rejection area. So here, if we go to the 4 hour time frame, yes, there is a 4 hour rejection area. However, this already got tested yesterday, right? So if you can see this, it already got tested yesterday because our entries for the rejection levels, we enter on the first candle that interacts with a rejection level. So let's see, US 30, give me 1 second. We have some US 30 rejection resistance. I just have some alerts set up and it's going off for US 30. Oh, this happened. So, okay, give me 1 second. Let me share this other chart real quick. I really don't want to get into a counter trade than the one I'm in, but let's see here. Let's see, share. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this chart. So we have a trend line and SAR rejection entry here. So yeah, and this one went down so quickly, so I don't even think that will US 30 rejection resistance on the hourly. So yeah, this one already, and it didn't even retrace back to the SAR level. So this stop loss would be like a 150 point stop loss, 150 point TP. Only issue is that, so you can see we had that rejection candle on the 30-minute. However, we didn't get a retest of that SAR level. And also price has already dipped down by close to like 50% of the trade. So I don't think I'll set an alert here. If price does not keep dipping down towards like 80% of where the take profit would be, and it comes back down up here, I'll see if it's something worth taking. But knowing that there's this possible rejection scalp entry at the very top there, I don't think it's something I would look to take. But let's see how that one goes. There's also a US 30 rejection resistance on the hourly time frame. However, that rejection candle did not close below the SAR level. So we'll see if that one goes by. But knowing that we have a possible rejection scalp at the top on this other chart, I don't think it's a trade worth taking for US 30. So I'll go back to the other screen I was at. So hopefully that rejection entry for US 30 yesterday makes sense. And looks like we bounced back to around entry. So right now we're at entry point. So for me personally, I'll still keep holding on to this trade. For gold, there's nothing really going on the hourly time frame. Nothing going on the hourly time frame. For the 4 hour time frame, so we're about to hit a rejection level on gold. So if you guys remember, we talked about this rejection level on gold yesterday for the 4 hour time frame. So if we do get a rejection entry here on gold on the 4 hour time frame, I will be looking to take a buy on gold here. But that's only if we get a 4 hour, and looks like this one you'd get away with a $20 stop loss, $20 TP. And this one, so this one would be a setup. So it meets all confluences. So if we get a 4 hour candle testing this area and closing back above, it would be a setup. The only reason it's not an A plus setup is that we don't have any order block in the direction that we are trading here. So same thing with this US 31. So this US 30 trade, A setup. This gold trade, this US 30 trade from yesterday that's still running, A plus setup. This gold sell that we took last Wednesday that's still running, this was an A setup because there was no, for example, bearish order block around our entry. So if gold test this level 2864, the first 4 hour candle to test it and close back above this, I will set a pending buy on gold later on. And And remember, this is a 4-hour time frame. So this 4-hour candle has two, what is it? 3 more hours to go before it closes. And then so finally, so let's see. So finally, on the daily time frame, nothing happening for US 30. But just a clarification: if the first candle to test this rejection level closes below this daily, so for example, let's assume it's this 4-hour candle that will test this rejection level, and it closes below, then that entry would be invalidated. On the daily gold, this trade, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't hit TP. So this trade I did mention last week that it would be a intraday, I'm sorry, a swing trade. So US 30 came back and tapped that entry for a 30-minute trendline and SAR rejection. I would rather wait to take the rejection scalp for US 30 up here. I really, yeah. So if anybody has any confluences for sales for US 30, so we already tapped, and we'll just mark it up here. We already tapped that. So I'm not going to take it. I would want it to go back up further. So if anybody has any confluences for a sell on US 30, there's a sell running for 150 points stop loss, 150 points TP. It's a nice trade. It's a nice intraday trade. And this one might either hit stop loss or TP almost immediately. So we'll see how it goes. So the entry is right there on the 5-second time frame that I just marked up. So if anybody has any confluences, that would be an entry. So, but for me, for US 30, I'm waiting to catch this rejection scalp that's right there. Yeah, so for what was I saying for gold? Yeah, so for gold on this 4-hour, if this 4-hour candle comes and closes below this daily rejection area, I wouldn't be looking to take it because now it would now be like a break and continuation entry and not a rejection, SAR levels rejection entry. So we'll see how that one goes. So for this daily time frame, yeah, I did mention last week this one would be a swing trade because for this trade we entered it with an $80 TP and $80 stop loss. So that is pretty wide for gold. Was hoping we would get like a rejection scalp on gold like we got yesterday. But yeah, so far, not bad. I'm liking this rejection scalps. They come in pretty quick. But again, you don't want to take them, to take a lot of them, especially because the TP and stop loss is so small. Yeah, but so far, this week has been pretty neat. So for me this week, every day has been green. So the 2000 I made earlier this morning was the rejection scalp that I showed you guys. But I did take the loss on the rejection scalp when the live session started. So for the day, I'm back at break even, I think, depending on any slippage. But for the day, I'm back. Yeah, for the day I'm back up. I'm back to break even. But I will be looking to take this rejection scalp if we go back. But right now, honestly, I don't see anything. So just a recap. I'm in this US 30 buy. And actually, I don't even need to take any trade because if this US 30 trade hits TP, I'll be back up 2K for the day. And if this gold trade hits TP for the day, I'll be up 4K for the day. So actually, yeah, I don't think I'll be taking anything else. So yeah, again, let me recap for this rejection scalps. You want to take them during periods of high liquidity between New York open to 11 a.m. Eastern time, or between periods where you have news releases. So for example, today, unemployment claims. That's how I was able to take that buy all the way at the bottom here. Unemployment claims, CPI, NFP. Now, the other thing too, you can get away with taking them. I think yesterday, one of these trades that I took yesterday here, because yesterday I took 3 trades. One of the trades I took yesterday was a rejection scalp in the afternoon. Let me see if I can find it. So in the afternoon too, afternoon session is actually pretty nice. Like between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., it's pretty nice, and I feel like market typically moves nicely or pretty nicely. So if we look at yesterday, let's see if I can find that rejection scalp that I took. And I think I did send it in the Discord. Rejection scalp. No. Yeah, here. So yesterday at 2:30 p.m. So this one was a perfect example of a rejection scalp. So let's go back yesterday at 2:30 p.m. and see. Yeah. So you can already see, and it's the same setup I was talking about yesterday, a few moments ago. 4-hour rejection area, 1-hour rejection area. So again, use the order blocks and these rejection areas to show you where price is going. So for me yesterday, and I think I was just randomly on the charts because I'm not normally on the charts in the afternoon. So here when I was on the charts, I saw what price did there. So here, if we go back, what price just did there is that since I was on the charts, shoot. Trade Locker is always updating the most inopportune time. So I was on the charts. So I did my markup for, okay, so here I turned on my zones. So we are in a green zone, we're in a demand zone. Perfect. Confluence number one. Confluence number two. So since this was a rejection scalp, you're not waiting for the rejection candle to close. You are trading with the rejection candle in the direction of rejection. So here I wasn't, right? If regular SAR levels rejection like this one I marked up for possibly later on today, you would need a candle to reject off of this level and close above, right? But if you're trading the rejection scalp, you're trading with the rejection candle itself. You're not waiting for it to close because the reasoning behind the rejection scalp is that you're anticipating the candle to close above or below the rejection scalp. So you're not waiting for a confirmation that the candle will close. The only time you wait for confirmation is if you're trading the regular intraday SAR level rejection entries. So for me here, in place of that confluence of waiting for confirmation, the confirmation here is waiting for price to go away from the rejection level by like 10 points right there. So yesterday what I did, I set an alert here for US 30. I added an alert at 10 points. So you know what happened? The alert went off, and when the alert went off, you have two options. When the alert goes off, you can set a pending order, which we have seen it is safer. You can set a pending order right there. So 20 points stop loss, 20 points TP. Again, 20 points is nothing for US 30. That gets taken out by like one second candle or 1 5-second candle. So you can either set a pending order or you go down to the 5-second time frame and wait for the 5 EMA and 9 EMA to make a crossover, which is why I have this chart here that has the crossover entries. And you can see that US 30 trade that I just mentioned right here, this trade would be in drawdown if we had hopped into it. That trend line and SAR rejection. Because I told you guys, I would rather take the sell. You can already see I have an alert here for US 30. So don't ignore all these rejection levels that you guys see. The rejection levels show you where price is likely heading to. So that's why I did not want to take this entry, and looks like it's almost getting stopped out. But anyway, so you go down to the 5-second time frame. So on the 5-second time frame, I have this indicator that so you have this green X. So a green X is a crossover of the 5 EMA to the 9 EMA to the upside. Red X is the crossover of the 5 EMA and 9 EMA to the downside. So you're waiting for that X, and then you enter it. So yesterday, when I took this trade, you can see somebody who had a pending order would have gotten filled in at a better price than I did by waiting for that confirmation. The best thing with waiting for the 5-second confirmation is that you're getting a better, more confirmed entry. On the other hand, too, if you set a pending order, sure, you can get also a better entry, but there's also the possibility that you'll get tapped in and price spikes to your stop loss. On the other hand, it is possible that when price is coming back up, it will reject and hit TP for you quickly. My only thing with setting pending, and you can see this trade would have easily gotten taken out for that US 30. So red flags, you just have to be aware of those red flags for some of these trades when I mention them, especially when I say I'm not taking one. But anyway, the reason I prefer taking this rejection scalp entries with a 5 second confirmation is that I'm able to wait for that crossover and I see the red X or green X. Because sometimes setting this pending order, you might miss it. And I think we probably saw that um wait, give me 1 second. Let me see this. Nah. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I think we saw it on one of the live sessions when we had a rejection scalp, and by the time I was setting a pending order, like price had already zoomed past my entry and went straight to TP. So that's why I prefer doing on the 5 second time frame so that I can see that chart and I can see that red X or green X and I can enter. But anyway, so my entry yesterday when I got in with the 5 second time frame, I think my entry was around 43,342. So the entry was 43,342, which was a bit further. So it was about 10 points away from the rejection level. So somebody who had entered at the rejection level with a pending order would have already been halfway towards TP compared to me. But anyway, so you can see this one went pretty nicely and went all the way up. So this is the trade that I took yesterday. So also check on the rejection entries that come up around 1 p.m. to like 3 p.m. Eastern time because there's still some liquidity in the market. It's like I think they call it power hour. So there's still some liquidity in the market, and I feel like price is also respects those rejection levels that it taps around that time frame. But for me, I prefer doing it during New York session because I'm normally once I'm done on the charts during the live session, I just look at the charts every hour just to make sure there's no hourly entry. So US 30, let's see if this trade is finally going to hit TP. And that will be it. So there is a possible rejection entry again here on US 30. Actually, let's see if we'll get this rejection scalp. This rejection scalp looks pretty neat. So let's see. So it's on the 15-minute. Honestly, do I really want to take it? Because I'm almost hitting TP with this trade. So I don't know if I want to risk just ending up at break even. But let's see how this one goes. We can just follow it and we'll see. We'll see the price action when this alert is hit, and then we'll go ahead and see it. So I've already set up my alert here. That's 10 points away. That's 10 points away. Again, same thing that just happened with gold. If price breaks above that rejection level, but doesn't get to your 10-point threshold on US 30, doesn't get to your $1 threshold on gold, for BTC, you can still trade the same way, and BTC, the threshold would be $100, and you'd be going for like a $200 TP and stop loss for BTC. But if you see price has broken above that area and it doesn't hit your 10 points yet, but then rejects like it just did previously before coming back up, that's also a mini red flag because it kind of tells you that rejection has happened because your goal is to catch the rejection. Your goal is to catch the rejection itself. But anyway, so let's see. So here, we've already hit the 10-point threshold. So you can either set a pending order at 43,719, or you come here, you wait for the 5-second time frame and see how this one goes. So for this one, I won't take this trade because I already know that I'm almost at TP with this US 30 trade and I'll be back up 2,000. Because if I risk taking this trade and I hit stop loss, I will be down 2,000 for the day, and then my US 30 trade hits, and then I'm back at break even. So for me right now, as much as if it were to win, I would be up maybe 4,000 for the day eventually, and maybe 6,000 if the gold trade hits. I don't think it's worth taking that risk. So again, this will be a rejection scalp for US 30. If we hadn't taken that loss earlier in the beginning of the live stream, I would probably think of taking it. But so you can see the red X, but you have to wait for that candle to close. So again, I'm not, so the entry is right there. I'm not going to take it on. Want to see how this one would play out. The only reason I'm not taking this trade is because this US 30 trade of mine is about to hit TP. So that is the only reason I'm not taking it. And you can see right there, we would have gotten stopped out and I would have now been down 2000 for the day. So, um, so that would be that's the only reason I did not take it. But for me, this trade, for the US 30 trade, it's almost hitting TP. Um, and this gold sell as well. This one I have, I'm almost 99% sure it's going to hit TP. So if you already have running trades in your account, there's no need to just take trades just for the sake of it. Because here's the other part as well, right? So you can see why I prefer taking 1 hour trades, 4 hour trades, and daily trades because they rarely come up, but they're also quality trades. And I think last year as well, if you guys remember, last year I didn't stream so much, but in 2023 as well, I did mention that one of my goals was to get fewer trades on, right? So for example, if you see like my results for this week, you can see with being up 10K for the week, and actually now it's 8K for the week because I'm back at break even for the day for today. But you can see the amount of trades I'm taking a day: 2 trades, 3 trades, 3 trades, 2 trades. The rejection scalps, yes, will give you more trades, but then they can kind of take you down the rabbit hole of over trading, of revenge trading, etc. So, like for example, let's just assume this, right? So we already took one loss in the rejection scalp previously, right? So we already took one loss for US 30, I think earlier on today. I forget where that one was. I think yeah, maybe it was somewhere. I think it was somewhere here during when the live session was starting. And then imagine you take another loss on that rejection scalp there, right? And then let's say like, and this US 30 just hit full TP for my account. So this one I took it with, and let's see if top one trader today behaved because the other, yeah, so top one trader is that one got hit full TP as well. So imagine you took those two losses with those rejection scalps, you would be down, and if you're risking 1% per trade like me, you'd be down 2%. But then imagine on the other hand, if you don't trade the rejection scalps, but then you put time to invest in learning how to enter these 1 hour trades, these daily trades. Yes, this gold trade took, or looks like it's going to take a week and a half to hit, but then you would be up 1%, right? And then you take this US 30 trade like yesterday, another 2%. You take the other US 30 trade that we saw that was down here yesterday, 3%. So compared to somebody who say is losing 2% in a day. With these rejection scalps, you will, not rejection scalps, with these SCR levels rejection entries that are intraday or even swing, you will rarely lose like more than 1% in a day because these trades have a wider TP and stop loss, and then they give you a better entry. But give me 1 second. Let me update uh, my my journal right now so that I show you guys. And I think for the month I'm up like 5K because last week I actually had a bunch of losses. But let me update my journal so that I show you those trades. So I'll just take a screen. And this is the other part, right? I'm not going to send all trades that I take. So like this one, I didn't send it. So you're either going to catch trades with me during the live session, or if I'm able to send it in the Discord when I'm taking it, I will send it. But if I don't have time, then and that's why I normally encourage you guys to just focus on just learning and executing that. So, and this one, you see, like, you remember that rejection scalp I took in the morning, like all the way down here. So imagine with like that 2K risk that I had, this is a trade, right? As much as not everybody will hold it that way. But can you imagine if I was holding it from one level of rejection to the other? This is a trade could have easily hit like 20 Gs or something. Um, give me, let me do this. Let me share my other screen real quick. Uh, Done. Mhm. Share. So you can see. Give me. Let me update this journal. Account history. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. But other than that, once I update this journal, that will be it for today. Hopefully, gold finally hits full TP for the day, and then that will increase my wins for today. I still have this. I think I started the live stream maybe. Click here, update statement. Save and upload. All right, so today, 3 trades, 1 winning rejection scalp, 1 losing rejection scalp, and okay, so give me US30 cash. This winner was SAR levels rejection, entered on the hourly. Screen grab, choose trades, and then rejection scalp. Rejection scalp was 15 minutes. Then that's the one that lost. Okay. Let me see. I can share this journal with you guys. Give me 1 second. Two. Let's see that. Okay, never mind. What I'll do is I'll do this. I'll post this in the Discord. Okay, so I'll share back the other screen. And US30 is still pumping. Pumping. Share this. Okay, so I can go ahead and delete this because I already recorded it. So let's look at things real quick to see. So there's nothing. So you can see here for anybody who had a rejection scalp in the one that would have ended up losing, and then they had a pending order instead of say me who would have entered on the 5 second, they would have avoided that loss. You know why? Because price did not come back and tap the rejection level. Now this candle is still ongoing, but what are the odds that, and we talked about this yesterday, what are the odds that in the next 1 minute this 15-minute candle is going to come and flash down? Probably not. It looks like this candle is going to close bullish. So for somebody who, I always say this, for somebody who sets pending order, you're much safer than for somebody who executes in the market or market execution. For me, for this, like this hourly 4-hour and daily rejection levels, I always use pending orders. I don't do market executions. For the trendline and SCR levels rejection, I use market execution and I enter on the 5-second time frame. For the rejection scalps, I'm more inclined to use the market execution because I need that confirmation on the 5-second time frame. But if in doubt, the pending orders will always be safer on US 30 and US 30. I think US 30, I've had for this rejection entries like that one that just hit full TP. I think only one loss like this whole month. And in one of my top one accounts, I think I'm up on 100K. I think I'm up 5K. Let me see. What am I up? Yeah, I'm up 5K. I only had one loss, so there was six trades this whole this month for US 30, and that kind of lines up with the threshold we've been talking about. For this rejection entries, you'll get like 6 or 8 of them a month, and of the 6 or 8, 80% have a high win rate for US 30 for gold. BTC is a whole other beast. And I did show you guys my backtest statistics from last year. BTC would have blown your account like twice during the year. Gold and US 30 would have given you, I think one of them would have given you 18% return. The other one would have given you a 20%. And when we were doing the math with that, if you're risking one trade, 1% per trade, BTC and US 30 and gold, you'd have made 50K last year just by the rejection entries. So that kind of lines up. So you can see like this month on US 30 alone, 5K on one account. On 2 accounts, that's 10K, and I have multiple accounts. But if you're doing one account, 5K, multiply by 10 months. So at the very least, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to make 30K a year if you're taking just US 30 trades or gold trades, and you're only trading, say, the 1-hour time frame. Now you can trade the 4-hour and the daily as well. But again here, so we have this rejection level that's setting up on the 4-hour time frame for US 30. But if I put the confluences here, what is a red flag of this particular trade? What is a red flag of this particular trade? So I'll bring this to the front. So why wouldn't I take, so let's assume this 4-hour candle closes below this rejection level and gives us 120 point tip in stop loss. But I think I would want my stop loss to say be above that 200 DMA up there and be above that rejection level. And actually that rejection level is a bit too close. So maybe go for a 250 point stop loss TP, something like that. Or actually 300 points like I just did yesterday, just to be a little bit more safer. Okay, now that's perfect. Now, if this 4-hour rejection candle closes below that rejection level, it will have satisfied confluence number 1. Okay. Confluence number 2, if buying, make sure you're in a green zone. If selling, make sure you're in a red zone. If we turn on the zones indicator, yes, the rejection entry is in a red zone. But what is a red flag that we talked about? There shouldn't be an overlap of zones. So the green zones and red zones should not overlap. That because yes, you can take the trade, but it is highly probable that price will keep it is highly probable that price will keep, no, I'm looking for this. You see this overlap here? It is highly probable that price will keep being in a range, and this green zone right here, which is demand, can easily shoot your trade straight to stop loss. So you want, and this is why you get like 6 or 8 trades in the month, because you need the green zones and red zones to be detangled. You need the green zones and red zones to be separate. Same thing that we did here for this hourly trade on US 30. The reason you want the green and red zones to be detached is that price moves from one pocket of liquidity to another. So this is why yesterday I was able to hold on to this trade for this long, because I knew we did not have any supply zone yesterday here, and we had come from this bullish order block. So look at where price has just gone to. Price has gone to a red zone, right? So you don't want to trade in areas where price is having overlaps. It's as simple as that. And that will save you a lot of losses. It will give you fewer trades in the month, but those fewer trades will be, high probability. Confluence number 3, do we have any order blocks around this zone? We really do not. So let's assume that we did not have that overlap of supply and demand zones. This would be a setup. The thing that makes it an A plus setup is, let's assume we didn't have an overlap of zones here, and then let's assume we had a bearish order block here, and say a bearish order block in either our area of entry or somewhere around our stop loss right here. That would be an A plus setup, because what you want to do, or what that would be telling you, is that you have a bearish order block to support price in case you come back in drawdown. Same thing that happened to me yesterday. For this trade here, I was in drawdown, but I had a bullish order block that was in my stop loss that kind of offered me, right, a better peace of mind that, hey, I'm going to support price to not hit your stop loss. It doesn't always have to happen, but trading for me is always a game of probabilities. So you just ask yourself, right, is price more likely to go in one direction or the other? And once you find that and find those confluences, then you should be golden. So anyway, so this trade here, even though this candle closes, I would not be looking to take a rejection entry right there on US30. For gold, if we have a retest of this daily entry here, number one, actually, I think I might, if I'm on the chart, I'll look to take a rejection scalp here. But on the other hand, too, if we have a rejection entry and closure above on this 4-hour, I'll be looking to take a buy on gold, 20 points TP, 20 points stop loss. And hopefully by then, price, and let me see, TP for this gold sell is at 28.50. So yeah, so that should, well, if it's 28.50, this 4-hour trade can lose, but we'll see. But other than that, that will be it for today's live session. Oh, I think I mentioned about this. So you can see here, for compared to this weekly, or to this weekly one that I'd sent. So earlier on, before the live session, I had all green. So, and I was up 10K for the day. I'm sorry, 10K for the week. So 2 trades on Monday, 3 trades Tuesday, 3 trades Wednesday. No. Oh, what is this? 24th. I'm sorry. 2 trades Monday, 3 trades Tuesday, 3 trades Wednesday, and 1 trade today on Thursday. So I was up like what, 9 trades, and I was up 10K. But you can see here, if we just look at, so this is my February return, right? So on February, actually this is, no, I'm actually on February, it's up what? So I'll just round off. So 2K minus say 500, 1500, say 2K 7500. I'm terrible at math, but anyway, yeah. So it's around say 5K for the month. But you can see here for this week, 2K, 2 trades Monday, 3 trades, 3 trades, and then today, in the morning, I had only taken that one rejection scalp that gave me 2K profit. On the live session, I did take that rejection scalp. So keep in mind, the rejection scalps, we are still front testing them. So I'm not counting those per se as official trades until I decide whether the best way to do it is by doing a pending order or a 5-second entry, manual entry, and that will probably take me a month. So anytime I review a new strategy, number one, when I'm reviewing a new strategy, I end up losing a shit ton of money. So I've already budgeted to lose a bunch of money with rejection scalps. But once I see a nice potential strategy and I see that the risk to reward is good, the amount of money that I lose, is far lower than the amount of money I end up gaining. So, for example, like if I show you guys the statistics for the SAR levels rejection for like last year, I lost maybe close to 20K on it. But this year, I should be able to bank, if not thrice, that amount. Because what happens is that eventually I just find better confluences to enter such entries. But yeah, so took a loss, another rejection scalp loss, and then the third trade, of course, is that US30 trade that I showed you guys here that just hit full TP. So for the week, I'm still up like 10K. What was the 10K, and then And then for the week, about 4K, 5K. So we'll see. So I just end up documenting each and every trade, each and every strategy. But what I do, and the other thing, and maybe you guys can borrow from that. What I end up doing is I have different accounts, and then the different accounts trade different instruments. So for example, my main account ideally trades everything, but I have three accounts with top one. So for example, the three accounts with top one of the accounts, I use it to only trade the trend line and SAR rejection levels rejection alone. Then the other account, I only use it to trade what? To trade gold, SAR. No, to trade trendline and SAR. So one account, trendline and SAR levels, trendline and SAR rejection alone. The other account, I only use it to trade gold SAR levels rejection alone. And then the other account, I use it to trade only US 30 SAR levels rejection alone. The reason you want to do that is, so for example, if I just had one account and I'm copying every single trade, I would ideally be in and out of break even. So for example, this month has been so good for me for US 30. Again, like I think what maybe six. I need to go back and look at it. But for US 30, I've only lost one trade. So for that top one account, I'm up 5K. Because I think there was only six trades. I lost one, so I'm up 5K. On the gold, now gold hasn't been good for this SAR levels rejection. So if you guys remember, we lost this trade on gold, and I remember it was this candle. We lost this trade on gold on the 4-hour time frame, and I think I took another loss on gold. So for gold for this month, I think I've only had one win and then three losses. So for my gold account on top one, I'm actually negative like 2 or 3K. And then my SAR levels rejection, no, my trendline and SAR levels rejection account, I think it's at break even. Yeah. So I recommend just having multiple accounts. Don't mix strategies with with just one account, and then I think that should be golden. But we'll keep seeing what other entries are there. So for looking for later on in the day, unless there is a rejection, and I really don't want to keep doing rejection scalps away from 11. So maybe this one is something that might materialize here. That might materialize later on at power hour. So 1 a.m. to 2 p.m. here. No, I'm sorry, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. later on in the day. So maybe this is something that will come up. So remember yesterday as well, right? That one rejection scalp from the bottom, it came in around that time. So this is a possible one that might come in later on today for US 30. And this price point is at 44,008. So you'd wait for price to shoot up to 44,018, and then you wait for a crossover entry, and then you just enter that with 20 points stop loss, 20 points TP. So this is something that probably will come in because if we do get in here during that power hour session, it might be a possible reversal point for US 30, like through Asia, and then maybe continuation later on in the night. For gold, I really don't see anything that will come up for today for any rejection scalp. For the hourly time frame, we already talked about this one's here. Possible hourly entry on US 30, but what are the odds that US 30 will close below this rejection level right here? If it does close, then yes, that's a possible sell on US 30, but you would need such a wide stop loss on US 30. So you need like at least a 300 points stop loss and TP. And even then, your stop loss is literally next to another rejection level. So again, not a trade I would look to take. So nothing on the hourly for US 30. And gold on the 4-hour, the only thing today on the 4-hour we talked about, this 4-hour would be invalid because we have an overlap of zones. So possible 4-hour entry on gold later on today here for a buy. So this one would be a possible 20 point stop loss, $20 stop loss, $20 TP. You have 2 hours, 15 seconds before 2 hours, 15 minutes before this candle closes. Only thing with that trade is the TP for this trade, for this swing trade we took last week, is almost at the stop loss of this trade. So this can easily be taken out. So maybe you do so you see this 200 DMA here. So the other thing you can have on your charts is the 9 EMA and 200 DMA. That can also guide you on where to put your TP and stop loss. So maybe for this one, knowing that the other trade on the daily time frame is still running, so maybe a $30 TP and stop loss. So for gold, I don't like going anywhere higher than a $30 TP and stop loss. For US 30, I don't like going anything higher than a 300-point TP and stop loss, because now you'll just be in that trade for days, if not weeks. But yeah, so for this 4-hour trade, that rejection level is at 2,864. You want the 4-hour candle to reject and close above. So you definitely want a 4-hour candle to test this area and then close above. If the first 4-hour candle to interact with this level, it doesn't have to be this 4-hour candle. This 4-hour candle can just start going back up from here. But the first 4-hour candle to test this zone has to first go below it and then come back up and close above it. And then at that point, you set your pending buy order. If the first 4-hour candle to interact with this zone closes below, then that trade would be invalid, and then you'd now look for something else. Or you can flip it and maybe do a break and continuation entry. On the daily time frame, there's nothing really here. There's nothing for US 30. Shoot, I just messed up that. Anyway, I'll go ahead and redo it. I messed up that alert. There's nothing for US 30 and gold on the daily. Okay, so for gold here, we do have a rejection level here on gold. It's at 28.85, and it's on the daily time frame. Now remember, this daily time frames, and let me delete this real quick on the background so as to go over this. This daily time frames or daily rejection levels rarely come up. Now, but if I ask you, what is a red flag of this trade? So it's right, we're in a demand zone. There's no overlap in zones. If you were to take this trade, you can get away with this trade now, since it's a daily time frame. So if you go on the daily time frame, you might need a larger stop loss than a $30. So on the daily time frame, this one you would be getting a $40 stop loss and TP. But this trade is a B setup trade. Why is it a B setup trade? What is around our entry? What is around our entry is this right here, an hourly bearish order block. So if this was an hourly, or not even hourly, if this was a bullish order block, if this daily candle would have come up here, and I think they're going to come back up. I think gold is going to swing back up and close above this rejection level just to rake in buyers and then use this bearish order block to take price to the downside. But if this was a bullish order block, this would have been a perfect swing trade A+ setup for gold. Because, right, remember here, your stop loss, the reason this is a B setup, it meets all requirements. It meets all requirements. The only issue is this hourly bearish order block. Because what might happen here is that, yes, they can close price above. You can set your pending order, but ask yourself, if price were to come towards your stop loss, what is protecting your position from hitting stop loss? Is it possible that if price comes in the range of your stop loss, they can tag this high of the bearish order block, come in here, close below this low of the bearish order block, and then go straight to your stop loss, right? So for me, that's why I mentioned to you guys, always use order blocks to tell you the story of the probability of what is supposed to happen. So for me, to this trade, yes, if it does validate, it's a B trade, but ask yourself, you have a bearish order block in the area of your stop loss. So you don't want to have a bearish order block in the area of your stop loss. You don't want to have, if you're buying, you don't want to have a bullish order block in the area of your stop loss if you're selling. In any case, you want the opposite. If you're buying, you want to have a bullish order block around your entry or in the area of your stop loss. If you're selling, you want to have a bull. If you're selling, you want to have a bearish order block in the range of your stop loss or at the area of entry. It's as simple as that. But yeah, so if that does close again, or if that does validate in any way, it's not a buy I would take. So for me, I'll just wait for this daily candle and see how it goes, and I'll still hold on to this gold buy. So unless something major happens with gold, I don't see any reversal. I mean, it is possible that, hey, they can bring price all the way back up. But for me, the probability is I am $20 away from hitting TP. So what's the probability that price will reverse back up for $120 instead of going $20 further down? And I have a bearish order block here. So for me, it is possible. I mean, nothing is impossible, but for me, I'll keep holding on to this trade. I'm up about what, 1,280. I have a swap of $100, which is annoying. I'm up $1,200 on my main account for this gold trade since I was risking 2K. And then on my top one account that I trade gold with, I'm up $680 because I risked $1,000 for it. And at least for top one trade, I have a positive swap, so it doesn't affect my position that much. In any case, I have more money. But anyway, so I'll see you guys tomorrow to wrap up the trading week. And hopefully we keep closing up the week in profit. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, you can ask in the Discord and I'll get back to you. But I will see